Willinga Park is a world-class equestrian facility approximately 2 hours east of Canberra, and Terry Snow is the mastermind behind Willinga. So Terry, thank you for giving me your time today.
Pleasure.
And for inviting us to this amazing wonderland that you have created. So how did Willinga Park come about?
I had 100 acres here initially, and I acquired some stock horses, which is a passion late in life, and started to breed them and needed more country, so I bought the adjoining properties, and some of them were very, very severely run down, but nevertheless it's all put together now. So we've got 2,000 acres here at Willinga, and started breeding stock horses and showing them, and then I needed new stables, so about at that period of time I thought, well, it'd be really fantastic if we were able to change the way equestrian's seen in this country. So I spoke with Brett Parbury, who's a well-known Olympian, part of the Australian Olympic team in the past and represented Australia at the World Equestrian Games. Spoke with him about providing a dressage facility. So I built initially about 30 stables, quite big stables for big warm blood horses, and then we put in the dressage arenas, which are quite unique. Then a covered dressage arena, and there's a horse pool and a horse walker, and different machinery to exercise horses, and then it was quite apparent that we'd needed stables for competitors, and unlike camp drafting, where the boys are very happy enough to put a rug on them and put them in a yard, the dressage horses require stables. So we built another 200 odd stables, and then we put a competitor centre in, so that's got a heated swimming pool and kitchen and showers and toilets and laundry, and then we built 20 cabins, or building 20 cabins for officials and staff and stewards, and it's gone on really. We've built the very, very nice camp draft facility, where we're having the gold buckle competition now today, and we're building another big show jumping arena with 1,000 covered seats in a stand.
And Terry, when you're saying that what is here, it doesn't feel, when you're here, it doesn't feel like that is all here, because everything's secluded, but it's close by and easily accessible, and it's blended beautifully into the natural environment, which is such a testament to what you've created, because with so much development, you've really looked after the ecology of Willinga Park as well. It's amazing.
Yes, and we've gone on and developed comprehensive gardens, because we don't want people just to come here for equestrian events, but it's really the outing that's important. And that the families come along and enjoy being here, and so you have attractions for kids. There's competition, high level competition. We're the first facility in Australia to have 4-star dressage, and we had 2 competitions back to back, alternate weekends, so people from Queensland could come down here and do all their competing, so to speak, in 10 days.
It's just a huge undertaking. And you host polo?
Yes.
There's a polo field?
Yes, we've got polo cross field, do show jumping. We're going to building an eventing course.
Wow.
We've got now about 6 dressage arenas, and we'll have more. And we've got this fabulous camp draft facility.
So the camp draft, we're all here for Willinga Park Gold Buckle Camp Draft, the World Championship, with 225,000.
Well, it's 280 it's grown to this year.
Oh, really? Wow. $100,000 to the winner.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. So why did you particularly want to throw your support behind camp drafting in such a big way?
Well, I had Australian stock horses, and I sort of blend those with the American quarter horse. So that's sort of a natural interest for me, though I'm too old to compete. I do have these horses that compete, and I think that camp drafting is a great Australian pursuit. It encourages the rural community to get together and as a family. So there's mum and the kids and grandma and grandpa quite often. Yeah. And we see these communities all come together and they all have a great time. And I think the sport's got a big future. And I think that by having it here and putting up this amount of prize money, we've attracted the leading camp drafters in Australia, so much so that Channel 7 now are going to run a direct broadcast on Saturday.
And that's the first time that's been
first
done.
First time ever for a camp draft, yeah. I understand. And that's going to be important for our sport because there is a professional side of it. There are a lot of young men and women who look to make a living from training these horses and or a supplementary living to their farm operations. Yeah. And so I think that if we can promote the sport, we'll have more people, hopingly we'd like to see syndicates like they do with race horses, buy a horse and say, well, let's give it a go and we'll put it with young Freddie and he'll train the horse and we'll go off to the drafts and have a good time and meet the cream of Australia, really, because I see our rural community as being quintessentially Australian, and these are the sort of people I like associating with and being with, and they all come down here and love it, and it's a good break for them to get away from the hard grind of running a rural property, and so I'm very delighted to do it, and very excited.
And you've touched on how important it is, and especially for people's mental health, to get away from that daily grind, because it's quite isolating on cattle properties. So to give them an opportunity to go and have a few beers with their mates, doing something that they really love, is so important to people, isn't it?
Yes, and for the women too.
Absolutely.
Because they don't get out either, and when you're confronted with our rural community's been through some drought, you can work hard, but if you've got no money and the bank won't give you any money to improve your fences, all you've got to do is you're compelled to watch your stock eat very, very, very expensive hay. And that's all you can do because you're limited by your cash flow because of the drought. And the banks haven't been too forthcoming and probably won't be in the future either. So it's a bit of a ever-decreasing, descending spiral, isn't it? And to break that and to get away and have a look over the horizon and see other people and have a chat and run their beautiful horses, and there's some wonderful horses there, and the people have come from all over Eastern Australia. We've got a number of people from Northern Territory, Northern Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, and of course New South Wales. And they're all getting together, and they all know each other, and they respect each other, and jostle, and I think they're enjoying it, and probably going to be, there's only one winner, but there's quite a bit of prize money to be sprayed around for everyone, and so it's fantastic, and I enjoy it, and the staff enjoy it, and
I know you're so proud of Willinga Park, but you're equally as proud of Canberra Airport, which you bought in 1998, is that correct?
Yes, that's...
And so it was considered a regional airport back when you bought it, but now it's considered by many to be one of the best in the world. So what sets it apart, what sets Canberra Airport apart from so many other?
Well, it was very average when we bought it, I must say, and had the dead hand of government run it and maintain it and design it, and it was basically a disaster. They had fish and chips in the main entrance foyer. They used to drag the garbage out through the main entrance of the airport, which wasn't very good. Anyway, we built this terminal and facilities, and we think it's the best little airport in the world. It's certainly not the biggest. And we've gone from just a small regional airport into an international airport. That's a very slow road to hoe. You need a lot of patience, but we have 2 international carriers and we're looking at more. We're looking at international freight in Canberra. We do have international freight now in the belly of the passenger jets, but we'd like dedicated freighters to come there and provide an outlet for rural produce in the region. From oysters down at the south coast, we've got a dairy industry to the east of Canberra. And as well as all those things like wine and farm produce. So we hope that the airport will step up into that role. We're sure it will. We've spent a lot of money in making it as good and as accessible and as practical and as pleasant as possible.
It's not just the bigger picture either. It's when we arrived the other day, we stepped off and it was just so clean. That was the first thing that I noticed, and that's so important, especially for international people coming. You know, it's sets them up for what to expect of Canberra, but also all the sculptures around which you pay so much attention to detail.
Yes, well, we have quite a big sculpture collection at Canberra. In fact, we've even got it on a runway. We've got some kangaroos out on the runway.
I'll have to have a look on Sunday when I fly out.
We've got a big sculpture exhibition, permanent exhibition here at Willinga. We have close on 30 pieces here now in our gardens, and so international pieces, people from China, Japan, New Zealand, all exhibiting here at the moment.
Wow.
And there's a permanent exhibition, and they're greatly appreciated by the people who come and visit the park, and a bit pop-eyed really to expect to see this on a rural farm. But as I said before, I think it's important that you consider coming to Willinga Park for a equestrian event as an outing rather than just coming to see horses. And that's how you cater and attract all the family. And we get a lot of repeat people that come to see the gardens but then watch dressage, and dressage is a little bit dry for a lot of people. It's not as exciting as camp drafting, but they settle down and watch that and eventually understand it and get behind and support our riders.
It's like ballet really, isn't it?
It is. It is certainly the quintessential riding skill. And I mean, they're different horses than what we run around in camp drafting. They're bigger, stronger, slower, more lugubrious. But anyway, we'll be doing some dressage as part of the camp draft on the Saturday.
Very much looking forward.
We've got Brett Parbury doing an exhibition, and we also have a disabled girl who's a quadriplegic riding her horse in dressage. So she has no use of her legs. And yet she can control this horse, and it'll be amazing to watch her do what she does, and we hope that she will represent Australia at the Olympic Games too.
That's it gives so much support to such a wide range of people.
Well, it's a bit of a disease with me.
Terry, I just wanted to ask you, because you're very open about your alcoholism, and everybody has their struggles, and it doesn't matter, you know, at the end of the day, we all have something to go through. So how did you deal with being an alcoholic? And
well, when I married my wife, I said that I will be an alcoholic, and I might have even been one then. Because
it ran in your family, did
it? Yes, it is hereditary, I believe, and I drank too much, and I was still able to work, but I was definitely dependent on alcohol. It was a big part of my life. It got to such a stage where I eventually said to my wife, "This is enough. I'm not going. I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. It's very demeaning to be an alcoholic and to be, that not performing well, and that you're letting people down, and you're not representing yourself as you should. Anyway, I was very disappointed to be an alcoholic, and it wasn't a fun thing, and I thought, well, I'm going to shake this off. I was fortunate enough to go to a clinic for a month. I went to a clinic and I said, well, that's it. I'm not
So
going to do it again.
what sort of things did they help you with, you know, to give you the courage to give up?
Well, they take you through the, I think they call it the 10 steps, don't they? The Alcoholics Anonymous program.
Right, okay.
And you work through the 10 steps during the month. And you have a lot of therapy, a lot of group sitting around talking with people in a circle about what you do and what you don't do, and there's a lot of people kidding themselves, and in the group you can call people out and say, well, that's not true. I know from personal experience that, you know, she said, well, people will make the statement, oh, it doesn't impact my wife or it doesn't impact my family, and we say, well, that's rubbish.
So they're living in denial.
Yeah, well, they're all living in denial. And because they wouldn't do it otherwise. No sane man would put himself through that and make a fool of himself and demean himself by being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But so we work through the AA's program, and there's an AA's community normally all through Australia, and I've been through a few of these before. I went to this one, and quite often you'll go there and you think, oh, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm just a heavy drinker. But the truth of the matter was I was an alcoholic, and when I put myself in this clinic for a month, I had no alternative but to confront it. And I confronted it, and I said, well, I'm not going to go there again. And I couldn't do any of this if I was drinking.
No.
My life would have been over some time ago. I might still be alive, but it wouldn't be a life worth living. And I've gone on, we've established a Snow Foundation in the family name, which has got about $100 million in corpus, which generates revenue to distribute through the community. I've been part of building the airport with the people I work with. I've built Willinga Park, and I think I've done so much good. I feel good about what I've done, and I couldn't have done any of that if I'd drank. And I know that we all struggle with it, and I don't mind other people drinking, but it does upset me to see someone throwing their lives away from alcohol, because it's probably not the most addictive drug. I think tobacco is more addictive than alcohol, and I'm off the cigarettes and been off them too for a long time. But you know, you just make the decision and get on with it, and drink plenty of mineral water for the first couple of months, and fill up on water, and have cups of teas, and you will find that your friends will change, and the people who you thought you'd see every day, they're not really interested in coming on the sobriety journey with you. But it is important, and I think members of the community who feel that they are affected and dependent on alcohol should perhaps have a look at themselves. Because there's so much good you can do without it.
And Terry, how important, like from what you went through with your alcoholism and getting that outside support, but to whatever you're going through, to actually reach out to get some help and talk to somebody, you know, to move you through to the next phase. Is that a really...
Oh, you've got to do it.
Because it's too hard to do it yourself.
It's, I suppose you could go out and have a really severe talk to yourself, but that might not be sufficient. But the AA's program, and sometimes you go along to these meetings and there's these old fellas and you think, geez, I'm not as bad as them. And you sort of excuse yourself, but be honest and sign up for the AA's program. They'll be in most towns in Australia, and some people go to these meetings, these AA meetings, every day of their life. Now I'm lucky enough that I haven't been to one for 20 years, but I still see the value in them. But I don't need it because I'm so passionately don't want to go there again. I don't want to be in that space. That,
and you filled your life with
and I don't mess about with it. I don't have a little sip. I don't have a taste. I don't have a smell.
Yeah.
I just say, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And
so it's a mindset, isn't it?
It is,
yeah.
and you just got to be positive about it.
Yeah. Terry, thank you so much. I know how busy you are this weekend, so I really appreciate your time catching up with me today.
Kelly, it's been my pleasure, and to share it with you and your friends.
Thank you very much. We're very grateful for everything you've done for the camp drafting community, so thank you,
Good,
Terry.
well, thank you.
Thanks so much for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please try to remember to just click on the subscribe button so we can keep you updated with everything that's happening. Thank you.